Hi, my name's Josh. I'm in charge of the garden here at Rockaway, and I'm here just to give you a quick update about what we've been getting up to. These are our terraces, and they've been here the longest. What we're currently doing is working on a perennial planting scheme for here, which basically means less work in the long run. So the idea is that we're getting perennial food crops planted to reduce the input that we're going to need to make over the subsequent years. So eventually this area will look after itself. Until that time, we've also got various annual crops in. We've got peas and leeks and onions and beans, and we've got deer as well that really love this garden. So a lot of what we've been doing, you can probably see the defences we've got up. A lot of what we do here is to try and defend our lovely tasty food crops against the deer. Volunteer seating area that we cleared together. So when we have volunteers in on Fridays, we sit here and drink tea and enjoy all the hard work we've been doing. This is a bed that the school group have been using. They're in on a Monday and Tuesday, and they have got this bed to experiment with sowing seeds and growing their own vegetables and seeing what it's like to garden maybe for the first time. So that's really important part of the ethos here, is that we're offering the space out to different groups that might not have space to access gardening themselves. So this is what that looks like. We've got some squash plants growing in here. This is probably one of the sunniest spots in the garden. It's almost directly south facing, and we're on quite a steep slope here, as you've probably noticed, so it's a little bit like being in the Mediterranean. So yeah, our squash plants will be very happy. And in the background we've been planting perennial kale in the beds, so again, minimal input and maximum kale, which, you know, you can't argue with that, can you? Yeah, these are some Jerusalem artichokes that have been planted up. And the nice thing about these beds is that the public footpath runs right down the middle. So the public are starting to be introduced to the idea that we're building this beautiful garden, and maybe they'll be tempted to stray off the footpath and come and have a look round. So this will become the new entrance to the garden. So we've got an access point down here, and we've been working with a digger to level it off so that we can get a few vehicles for visitors, so they can come and park their car. And in time we'll have a structure down here that will act as the base for the garden, so we'll have some shelter and some power hopefully, and some big community compost bays are going to live down here as well, so that folks in the area can come and drop off any green waste and we can make compost and share it, which is, you know, never a bad thing. Doing some work putting in this retaining wall, which will form part of our accessible path, so that folks that use wheelchairs will be given an opportunity to be able to access the main part of the garden, which is a really important project for us. So this will all be surfaced in such a way that it's wheelchair friendly, and the wide gentle slope will mean that yeah, no one's excluded from coming and enjoying the space. Doesn't look like a lot, but what we've been doing is patching up some of our hedgerow with native hedgerow species, to really sharply declining habitat and environment. So we've been making the repairs necessary, if you like, with native species bought by money that folks have donated. So we're really grateful, and it's really exciting to see it coming to life now that the spring's well and truly here. This beautiful old oak tree must be, I don't know, 300 years old as a guess, but there's still some life in it, hopefully, as a support for other beautiful, useful plants that incidentally make beer. Welcome to our veg garden, which we've put some work into extending, and you might not believe, given the site, that we'd have particularly nice soil, because it's been a an unused slope really for a long time, but actually we're on a really nice loam here which lends itself beautifully to growing vegetables. So this is our arable crop area. So we've got some squash in, we've got some cucumbers, we've got a couple of types of onions, runner beans, French beans, dwarf French beans, and we're trying chickpeas as well this year, because we are on a south facing slope and it gets really nice and warm here, so we think they might do alright. So watch this space to see how many chickpeas we get. I'm not sure it's going to be enough for a particularly large dish, but you never know. Maybe it will be. And then protected against deer are carrots, and some parsnips and some beetroot. So they're doing their thing, and then further along as we go down we've got kale, rocket, radishes, chard, more chickpeas, all sorts. Yeah, not got a massive space, so we've tried to cram as much as we can in. Most of the late spring and winter has gone into making steps, which has made a massive difference with how easy it is to get around the site. So there's going to be loads more of that over the coming weeks and months and years probably, but it's really starting to pay off. So yeah, we've now got steps all the way from the bottom all the way up to the top. Doesn't look like a lot right now, but this big sheet of plastic is acting as a mulch, which will help establishing a native perennial wildflower meadow, which again is a habitat in really steep decline. And what the plastic is doing is killing off the grass and the weeds, so that in the autumn we're going to sow it with a local perennial wildflower mix, and it gives the flower seeds the best fighting chance of not being outcompeted by the grass. So it doesn't look great for now, but it's all towards establishing a really exciting habitat, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that does. If anyone is interested in getting involved, we run regular volunteer days on a Friday, and that includes free lunch in our vegan cafe, which is always really popular. And if you can't make it down in person, we've got a crowdfunder which is open, and any donations go towards supporting the garden directly, so go towards plants or tools. And if anyone has any of those things to donate as well, we're always really grateful. If you've got any seeds or plants or tree saplings or anything, we've got a very big garden and lots of space to fill. So yeah, any and all donations very gratefully received.